You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Tonight's edition of the Prospect Show is brought to you by Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, Caisse Financial Group, and TOVI Hockey. Only one guest will be joining the episode tonight. No edition of the MCN Sports Advising segment for this week's edition of the show. That will be returning next week. But in tonight's edition of the Prospect Show, number 7 defenseman from Edge School Prep U18 will be joining the show. U18 Prep defenseman from Calgary, Alberta, Charlie Elick. Charlie has had a successful season with the Edge so far this season, points-wise, with 18 points in 16 games played. His team right now sits second overall in the U18 Prep division, and Charlie was also drafted third overall back in December in the 2021 WHL Draft to the Brandon Wheat Kings. I'll have a chance to ask Charlie about his season with the Edge this year, as well as that experience of him getting drafted third overall to the Brandon Wheat Kings, coming up on this edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions with number 7 of Edge School Prep U18, Charlie Elick, here on the Prospect Show.
Wow!
And there he is, Charlie Elick, on this edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Charlie, nice to finally meet you. I know that we've been trying to set this interview up for quite some time here, but it's great to finally have you on the show tonight. I know you've been a busy guy. How have things been going for you, in the academy this year, and just the experience you've been having so far?
Oh, great. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Yeah, it's great to be on the show finally. Yeah, it's been great. Edge has been great for me. I thought that it's just been a whole new area of my game that I can improve, and yeah, it's been pretty good so far, just with the older guys, and yeah.
Yeah, and you actually played games with their U15 team last season. Only
Yeah.
had a chance to play 6 games, but obviously not your first time being in the Edge. Talk about, why you chose Edge as that next place to play, starting with last year when you were with the U15 group.
Like a lot of good guys have come out of the Edge. The schooling there is great. It's really close to home. It's 10 minutes away from my house. Like Jake Sanderson, a big idol of mine, he came out of Edge. He went to the U.S. development route, and I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, Edge opened up a lot of things for me. The gym was open there, and it was just a great choice for me.
Yeah, and you talk about just being close to home. How nice is that? Rather than, how some players go to some schools if they play in the CSSHL that may be further from home than them, you have that luxury to play closer to home. How nice is that, being able to, have that aspect of things as a 15-year-old kid, having, your family so close to you?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, the family staying here, the schooling being right close to home, so I can always get my parents to help me with that. They know what I like to eat, so it's just been, yeah, great that have gotten to stay home here. But yeah, moving forward, I'm gonna have to move away soon, so it's not that big of a change.
Yeah, and scratch that, actually. You're not 15 years old. You're a 16-year-old kid now. I mean, your birthday was on January 17th. Happy birthday. I know I'm wishing you a belated happy birthday here, but what was that like, getting to spend the birthday with the fam this year? And did you also get a chance to spend it with some teammates?
Yeah. The January 16th, I actually played my first Brandon game, and that was the day right before my birthday. So fam was there watching, a bunch of friends were there watching, got a great game in, and I thought I played well. 17th, we had family dinner. I got to hang out with some friends before that. But yeah, it was a good day, good time. Yeah.
Yeah, and that must have been wild. Playing your first game with Brandon a day before your birthday. Take me back to that experience of playing in your first WHL action.
Oh yeah, just being able to practice them that week before, it just felt great. I already kind of bonded with the team, and yeah, the gameplay wasn't too much different. It was just a lot faster than I thought. I got a really good shot off in the first, almost scored. But yeah, it was unreal experience. I can't wait to do it again.
We'll dive more into just your WHL experience so far. Even though it's been short, like you said, only being able to play one game with them, but we'll dive into that later on here in the show. Let's talk about, your season with the Edge some more this year. Obviously, you've been able to have a good season offensively, putting up 2 more points per game than you played so far. 18 points in 16 games, 6 goals, 12 assists on the season. You scored a hat trick in the team's most recent game and win against the Northern Alberta Extreme team. Take me back to that, being able to go off and scoring a hat trick against the best team in the league at this point, the first place team in the league.
Oh yeah, it was a good game. Pretty back and forth between the two teams, but yeah, it was a great game overall. The Much of my teammates set me up for some goals, and one of them was pretty lucky. But other than that, yeah, it was a hard fought battle, and we came on top of it. So it was a pretty good game.
You've only gone 5 games without a point this season, Charlie. To be able to have that type of consistency as a defenseman, only having 5 games where you've not registered a point. How nice has that been to know that you've been able to put up offense more than not, on more of a consistent basis.
Pretty good, yeah. It's just doing my job pretty much, moving the puck up to the forwards and letting them do the work. But other than that, yeah, I've been trying to help my team out, doing the best I can, getting the puck up and getting shots off from the point.
Dive more into your abilities offensively. What makes you the type of offensive player that you are from the back end?
From the back end, I feel like I can skate really well, and getting shots off from the point is pretty necessary. I play the quarterback on our power play, which is great. And yeah, it's just huge to be strong from the back end, and that's what teams need.
Yeah, for sure. And you being able to be that quarterback on the power play and being a rookie on this year's team, definitely huge that the coaches have been able to trust you with that. Talk about how nice it's been to be able to have a coaching staff that's put you out in situations like that and has been able to have that confidence to do that.
Yeah, it's been pretty great. The coaches, they give room for error, but not too much. They still restrain you a little bit, but that's always good that they give you a little bit room for error, and they always give us more chances to show off and try to give us more opportunities on the other teams, special teams. So it's been, yeah, these coaches have been great to us.
The team is in second place this season. Have the second most goals out of any team in the U18 division, and as well as the third least goals against in the U18 prep division. For yourself, being a 15-year-old when you first started with this U18 team this year, now being a 16-year-old, to be that younger guy contributing not only offensively, but in some big situations out there, key defensive situations. How nice has that been for your confidence this season?
Yeah, start of the season was kind of shaky, but other than that, yeah, my confidence has grown quite a bit. I was coming into this season thinking that I was just try to stay level with the pack, but other than that, yeah, I thought I've grown up and gotten a lot confident over the season.
Talk about just your ability to shoot that puck. I've seen some game footage of you. You got a pretty accurate shot out there. You can release that puck pretty quickly as well. Definitely huge when you're able to have both of those things, being able to get points off from the back end at the blue line in the offensive zone. But speak about your shot, where it's at this level and, how much work you put into it.
Oh yeah, I've been putting work into it since I was little kids. Since probably Timbits, I've been shooting downstairs in my basement because we have an unfinished basement. But yeah, just there's always room to improve on my shot, and yeah, for right now, I think it's pretty good, and yeah, it's always room for improvement.
Speak about just that ability for yourself to just know when to activate into the play and step up to get in a position to fire those pucks when you do have those opportunities. Does that just come down to the confidence you have out there as a player?
Oh yeah, for sure, and it's also reading the positioning of the forwards in the zone. Like if they see the forwards coming up the left wall, you can always jump down the right because there's always going to be an opening on that side because the forwards have to come across. But yeah, it's always a bunch of reading the play and just finding when the right time to jump is.
Moving away from just the play on the ice so far this season, I know from the messages that we've had back and forth that you're always mentioning that you got workouts pretty consistently throughout the week. How nice has that been to do these type of team workouts you've been doing with the Edge this season?
Trainers are great. Yeah, they've really shown us some great stuff. They always know what to put on the table for what we're doing in the workouts. They've At the start of the season, it was push type workouts where it was lifting and kind of doing more press stuff, and now it's more pull stuff, and it's really shown that that stuff comes in handy when they know when to put the certain workouts into play when it's certain time in the season.
For yourself coming in before you even came to the Edge, it was just the type of work they do in the Edge with you guys off the ice. Was it an eye opener of what you felt like you need to, up your training to what you were training like before you joined the Edge?
For sure, yeah. The team before joining Edge wasn't too high on working out. We didn't work out too much, but joining Edge really showed me how important working out is, and it's pretty eye opening to see that much working out can help that much.
The team this season, Charlie, is second place, like I mentioned, 21-4-1 record in the U18 prep division, second most goals in the league with 140, 61 against, third least in the league, as mentioned, with the number being 61. Talk about just overall this season, how satisfied you guys have been with the results you've been able to have so far, being that second place team in the league.
Yeah, we've been doing pretty great so far. It's just some games we've had ups and downs, which is to be expected. But other than that, yeah, the team has come together really strong. Even at the start of the season, we were pretty bonded already, so because the guys knows each other from before staying at Edge. But the older guys on our team really showed us the ways, and it's a great leadership group. So yeah, it's been pretty easy coming for us since we know each other. We have a really strong team.
Yeah, and talking about that offense, obviously you've contributed with 6 goals to this, but 140 goals offensively. Just speaking about this team's offensive ability, that the team has pretty good depth to be able to put that puck in the net at a high level on a night in, night out basis.
Yeah, our team has really deep depth that I've seen. It's not really a bad line, not really a bad shift that we have, other than some bad games. But other than that, yeah, our team has been doing really well overall, and we've been coming together as a group to help each other out.
Obviously some really talented D-man on this team, including yourself, but this team defensively 61 goals against. Just talk about the decor and just pairing with that, the way this team has been able to defend teams this season.
Yeah, we have a really good decor, really strong decor. We have really good chemistry with each other, so we know when other guys are going to be places and when how they're going to defend. So it's pretty great. Justin Kipke, another guy on the back end, he's been really strong defensively and offensively. This whole back end group has been awesome for our team.
Talking about just the 4 straight wins this team has, 7-3 in the last 10 games, with only 6 games left in the season, to be catching fire the way you guys are right now. Obviously, you've been having a really good season up until the 4-game win streak, but be on the streak you guys are in now while the push for playoffs is ramping up. Obviously, you guys clinching a spot, but how nice it's been to have this type of performance from the team, not only in the 4 straight wins, but in the last 10 games, only dropping 3 in the last 10.
Yeah, we're gonna try to have to peak for when playoffs come, really, and the team just has to really come together for playoffs if we want to try to win the thing. But yeah, clinching is great, and yeah, we've been pretty strong each other as a group, so it's been good.
Well, we're going to go to a commercial break here, Charlie, and move away from talking about the Edge and the season you've been having with them, but talking about the WHL experience you've had so far, including you getting drafted 3rd overall to the Brandon Wheat Kings in this past draft in the 2021 WHL Draft. I'm joined by number 7 of Edge U18 prep, Edge School U18 prep, Charlie Elick, defenseman for that team. Coming up after the break, I talked to Charlie about the WHL. So stick around with me and Charlie for more on this week's edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV. Welcome back to the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions with Edge School Prep U18 or U18 Prep defenseman number 7, Charlie Elick. I've just been talking to Charlie about why he chose the Edge, as well as the season he's been having with them, and some stuff that they do outside of hockey, which is, working out with the trainers that are provided at the Edge. Charlie, the WHL Draft, of course, not a while ago now, but it's at this point, you're well into signing your contract with the Wheat Kings. You played a game with them already. You've practiced with the team already, but just talk about the moments, leading up to draft day, what they were like for you, and in anticipation for you potentially to get drafted.
Leading up to draft day was a big step for me, I thought, and it pretty much came easy to me. Brandon showed a ton of interest in me, and I really liked how they structured their team. How they wanted me so bad compared to some other teams that were reaching out. But yeah, Brandon really showed me how they were going to treat me, and I really liked it. So that's the way that came for me.
Talk about that moment, getting selected as the third player off the board, third overall to the Brandon Wheat Kings in the 2021 draft.
Oh yeah, unreal experience. We had the family home. We were watching it on TV, and just one of the biggest steps so far in my hockey career, and I couldn't wish for anything better of that day. More steps to come, and yeah, I can't wait to continue my career with Brandon.
Going more into that moment, having the family there, watching it on TV must have been just such a
What's going on? Wi-Fi's down.
Sorry, folks. For some reason, I just got kicked out of StreamYard about a minute or two ago. So, yeah, my apologies. My apologies for that. Sorry, I'm freezing up here, folks. So we're gonna try to get through it as this show goes along, but we're gonna take another commercial break and get Charlie Elick back in here as well, while we sort things out here on this edition of the Prospect Show. We'll be back in just a moment. And back here on this edition of the Prospect Show, once again, my apologies, folks, for leaving abruptly there. For some reason, my browser decided to kick me out. But back here on the show with Charlie Elick. Charlie, we were talking about just the experience of getting drafted to the Brandon Wheat for yourself. I wanted to go back to that moment, just of the time you got to spend with your family on draft day, watching the draft on TV, just how surreal that experience truly was for you.
Oh, it was once in a lifetime feeling. It's just great that my family got to experience it with me. Got got a lot of messages from my buddies and friends congratulating me, and ultimate feeling of gratitude when my parents congratulated me and were videoing it. So they really showed how much they care about me and just how great their moment really was.
Yeah, a cool moment for sure. The family congratulating you, being there with you, along with your friends, texting you congratulations. No better feeling in the world for sure that you were feeling in that moment. Talk about just the work that you put in leading up to this draft to boost your stock of being in that conversation for going in the top 10, which you did going in top 3.
Oh yeah, it's just been the years and years of hard work. Really, just during quarantine, I really thought that the mental side of the game was the biggest role for me that I had to build. But yeah, other than that, I was training my ass off and yeah, just working hard, really, really hard. And when my wrist got injured, I also worked really hard on my mental game and just yeah.
Yeah, and speaking about that mental game, just where it's at this point, and how much progress you've made in that aspect of the game as the years have gone along.
Oh yeah, so I made a ton of room to grow. Yeah, in that aspect, I really think that I've worked on it well. I've really improved on it. Just seeing and thinking the game has come a lot easier just by working on that mental side of it, like thinking of reps, thinking of how to do things right, and just ultimately thinking, yeah, so this is what I want to do, and yeah, making it right.
The Wee Kings getting a very good all-around defenseman, but in your opinion, putting it into words, what player exactly the Wee Kings will be getting from you throughout your career?
I feel like they will be getting a hardworking, more of an offensive defenseman, but I can play two-way too. I feel that they are going to be getting a leadership player, as I'm a leader. Even in my team now, I feel like I lead by example. I'm really close with all the older boys, and I feel like they're going to be getting leadership guy and a strong back end.
Obviously, like you said there, your offensive part of your game, you feel like you'll be more of that offensive defenseman. Talk about your game more so in the defensive side of things. What makes you stand out as a defenseman in your own end out there.
In my own end, I feel like I'm physical. I can knock guys off the puck pretty easily and get the puck up to forwards really quick if it's through the middle or if it's on the wall. I feel like that those are the biggest strengths is my first pass, making that strong first pass and really getting the forwards up quick up the ice.
Your play off the puck, obviously, you spoke about yourself being a physical defenseman out there, but talk about yourself in terms of your positioning out there as a defenseman in your own end.
Yeah, positioning has a huge role in the own end. As you get caught off guard, there's always going to be two forwards rushing back to the net against you. So yeah, it's always really important to focus on positioning as it's one of the biggest roles. But staying on the D side of the forward and when the shot's coming in, boxing them out is a huge role of that. As you need the goalie to see the puck if he wants to save it.
Is that something that you felt has improved as the years have gone along, or is it something that you've always had a knack for, having that good positioning?
Yeah, it's always been something there, but I've always tried to work on it, doing practice, doing things with older guys, pushing guys out of the way, even though they're bigger than me. It's just, yeah, it's been all there quite a bit, but I've worked on it too.
Yeah, and you can never not be you can never be too good at something out there. And obviously, with you being a defenseman, working on that is definitely going to be essential for your game moving forward, as it is for every defenseman, right? Continuing to work on that good stuff that you've been doing already throughout your hockey life. But talk about just that aspect of playing with older kids this year, having a taste of the WHL already, how this year will help you, in your hockey development throughout the year here to end things off, hopefully transitioning in for yourself to be potentially playing up with the big club next year in Brandon.
Yeah, no, edge has been great for me. I've kind of seen the bigger side, the more heavier side of the game, the more physical side, as these guys this league are a lot stronger than the guys that were in the Bantam League. Even though some of them might not be as skilled, but they for sure are stronger and more physical than the guys that I've played with before.
You talk about yourself as a player on the ice, but who is Charlie Elick off the ice? What type of individual is this Brandon Wheat Kings franchise going to get from you?
Well, I've been always an off ice and on ice leader, I feel, and I've been competitive no matter what. So they'll get a for sure competitive guy, and I've always been someone who sticks around, cleans up the place, and always just does what's best for the team and for the room and everything.
How excited are you to have a chance to interact with fans throughout your time playing with the Brandon Wheat Kings and just getting to know what that community is all about in Brandon?
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, it's going to be another step of mine, and I just kind of got a little bit during that first game in the dub there when all my friends and family were there. But other than that, the fan base I feel is going to be great in Brandon, so it's going to turn out well.
Even before you played your first game with Brandon and practiced with them, you signed your contract with them. Take me through that experience of signing your first ever WHL contract?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, I had Chris Moulton come down, and he took the picture for us. We had him over. He gave us the contract and signed it right here at my house. But the whole experience was great. Yeah, I got to take this contract. I got posted about it, so it was a bunch of friends and family commenting on it and just congratulating me again after the draft. But yeah, the fans and everyone, it's been great so far.
Obviously, it's only been one game with Brandon so far, but you got to practice with the team. You got to, be able to experience just a bit of what the culture brings with the Brandon Wheat Kings. Talk about what that adjustment was like, though, in your first ever WHL game, more into depth. I know you talked about it a bit earlier on in the show, but going more into depth about what that experience was like of playing against even older guys.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot faster pace, but it's all started in the practice when I was practicing with Brandon. Got a few tips from Vincent Iorio, one of the big leaders on the team. He told me that the biggest rule of thumb that he thought was switching from his other league to now is just that getting pucks up quicker to the forwards and letting them get the puck up. But yeah, the first game I thought that I did well, and I took those tips into mind, and I just really use it's a lot quicker. So.
Obviously, you still got this season to worry about as it concludes here with the Edge. I assume you hope to make that jump to play with Brandon next year as soon as possible. But what is going to be your goals, for the rest of the season more, and just heading into the off season as well, getting ready for next season coming up?
Yeah, rest of the season for sure. Work on our team play overall and just our edge and getting stronger, obviously. And in the off season, just really bulking up, getting stronger, and getting ready for that camp, and hopefully getting in for Brandon next season.
Well, hope to see you with the club next year, the Brandon Wheat Kings. There, Charlie. Best of luck to you and your team coming up this season with the Edge, as the regular season will be concluding before we know it, and then you guys will be in playoffs. Best of luck in that, and as well as best of luck to you and your future hockey endeavors. Hope to talk to you soon again in the future here on the Prospect Show.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Charlie. Charlie Elick, number 7 defenseman of the Edge School U18 prep team, draft pick, number 3 overall in the 2021 WHL Draft to the Brandon Wheat Kings. I'm going to take a commercial break here. Charlie is going to, sign off, and then coming up after the break, Charlie, I'm actually going to be breaking you down on this week's edition of Player Breakdown. But, take her easy, Charlie, and we'll see you again soon, man. We'll take a commercial break now here on this edition of the show.
Welcome to Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot-Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Welcome back to the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions, number 7 defenseman for Edge School Prep. Edge School U18 Prep, their hockey team, defenseman from Calgary, Alberta, number 3 overall pick in the 2021 WHL Draft to the Brandon Wheat Kings. Charlie Elick joined the show to talk about his season with the Edge, as well as that WHL Draft experience for him getting selected 3rd overall, and we talked about many other things. But just a great individual with a lot of potential in his future here coming up, and that brings us to this week's edition of Player Breakdown, the 9th edition of this segment featuring Charlie Elick and taking a look at a season this year. As mentioned before, throughout this interview, 18 points in 16 games played. He had a chance to play 6 games with the Edge the season before, and in that season, he ended up putting up 3 points in those 6 games he played. And let's take a look at Charlie's Elite Prospects page here. Taking a look at it, Charlie Elick. I should have had this loaded up, but I had to restart my computer due to just my Wi-Fi crash for a quick sec there, which was nerve-wracking, but happy was able to get through that, and now back here on the Prospect Show, of course. But yeah, Charlie, in the 6 games he played last year, I wanted to confirm it because I did look at it a while ago, by confirming he did have 3 assists for 3 points, no goals last season in those 6 games played. He had 25 points the season before he joined the Edge U15 team with the Calgary U15, the Calgary Flames U15 AAA team, putting up 25 points in 33 games that year. But yeah, he's a physical defenseman, he says, but he's not a defenseman that has taken many penalty minutes. He had 10 penalty minutes in 33 games played with the Calgary Flames U15 AAA team. Only 2 last season in 6 games, but throughout the 16 games he's had this season, he's only put up 2 penalty minutes. So a physical defenseman who's also disciplined too, can't ask for anything better there, right? But he's a 16-year-old player. He's 6'3", 181 pounds, according to Elite Prospects. And taking a look at Charlie Elick, the things that make him such a good player out there were many of the things that he mentioned tonight. Talking about that shot, he has a good shot. He feels like it's an accurate one, and it's one that he keeps improving on. He also talked about how he can read the ice very well, and I think he sees the ice very well and can read the plays very well, like he said, and some other good things too that Charlie can do. So we are going to get into it. He also talked about his skating as well, which I think is pretty strong, even though I'm not sure if these clips do his skating ability justice. But we're going to roll through it here, talking about Charlie Elick, number 7 for the Edge. And for some reason, I cannot find the video that I exported to show you guys the footage. I've been having the problems with my computer for a while now, folks, so really my apologies there. So yeah, I can't find the clips for you guys that I cut, which is unfortunate. So you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to end the show here, folks, and we're going to try to get those clips out for you guys from Charlie Elick and for this week's edition of Player Breakdown, the 9th edition of the segment. Coming up for tomorrow or on Wednesday, I guess it'll be a separate edition of the segment, but I'll put that out on social media on our Instagram, our Facebook, and our Twitter as to when this week's edition of Player Breakdown is going to come out. So yeah, sorry for that, folks. I can't find the video, which sucks. I was really looking forward to breaking down Charlie's game tonight, but that will have to wait for either tomorrow, which is Tuesday, or on Wednesday. It will be coming out at some point this week for sure, when I can get these problems sorted out of actually having the video present. But yeah, that's going to do it, I guess, for tonight's edition of the Prospect Show. I want to thank Charlie Elick for coming on tonight's edition and being tonight's edition of the show and being the guest in tonight's episode. I'd also like to thank the sponsors of tonight's episode in TOVI Hockey, Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, and Caisse Financial Group. And I'd also like to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in to tonight's edition of the Prospect Show. So the Prospect Show will be returning next week on Monday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. You guys can catch that edition of the show on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, on our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV, or simply visit our website at ASTV Productions to watch. Also, for Player Breakdown, like I already mentioned, you guys can catch that on our network either tomorrow or on Wednesday. I'll put out something on social media to announce that, like I said, but you guys can catch that on our Facebook at ASTV Productions and on our YouTube as well at Amateur Sports TV. But if you want to stay up to date with some Manitoba sports coverage in the amateur sports scene, I'll be doing my weekly edition, well, not weekly edition, but my Tuesday edition of Coffee with Graeme tomorrow night at 10 a.m. Central Time. So stay tuned for that. If you are a fan of Manitoba amateur sports, going to be talking to at least one hockey player and my man, Cody Wall, on Off the Wall with Cody, for him to break down the past weekend games that we saw here on the network. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Guest list will be coming out tonight just before midnight on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, on our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV, and on our Instagram as well at ASTV Productions. But also stay tuned for the guest list for this show, the Prospect Show, coming up just before noon next Monday, as I will be releasing that. Well, ASTV will be releasing that all over social media on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. To announce the guest list. But one more thing I want to let you guys know before I actually sign off on tonight's edition of the Prospect Show is I've started a fundraiser called Graeme's Mental Health Fundraiser. I did it because I did not support Bell Let's Talk Day this year. I did not donate anything to Bell Let's Talk Day. So I want to make one thing clear, and I have been making this clear, but I want to make it clear every time that I say what I think about Bell, or that I mention Bell. And I just want to say that my views expressed on the GoFundMe page are my views and my views only. They do not reflect the views and opinions of ASTV Productions, this company. So yeah, just to make that clear, the views I have on Bell are my views and my opinions alone. They do not reflect the views and opinions that ASTV Productions has on Bell Media. So I wanted to make that clear. But I will be linking it down below the fundraiser if you guys do want to donate in this episode and all the episodes of the Prospect Show moving forward. So the goal is to raise $1,000 by my birthday. All the money will be going to the Canadian Mental Health Association. That's what the fundraiser was created for me to donate there. Well, for the money to donate there. So yeah, we're over $100 at this point, which is great. Thank you to everyone so far that's donated. If anyone is watching that has donated, thank you to you. But yeah, if you do want to donate, feel free to do that. I will link the fundraiser from GoFundMe.com down in the description of this episode. And if you don't feel like donating any money, that's okay too. But I would like to ask you guys to share it if you can, because the more words, the more eyes on this fundraiser, the better chance of raising money that I have. Not we, my apologies. The more eyes that I have on this fundraiser. Sorry if I said we, just talking about myself, of course, with ASTV Productions, not being associated with the views that I have on Bell Media, to make that clear once again. But yeah, fundraiser staying open until my birthday on May 10th. So if you want to donate to my fundraiser, feel free to do that. If you want to just share it that is okay as well. But yeah, that is actually going to do it now for the edition of the Prospect Show tonight. I just wanted to say my piece about that, about the fundraiser that I have. Of course, I will link it down in the description of this episode. But until next week, folks, on Monday night when I see you next, I've been your host of the Prospect Show, Graeme Forsyth. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday night. Have a wonderful rest of your week and a wonderful weekend as well. Stay safe out there. Stay warm as well, and stay safe on the roads if you are doing some driving, especially on the highways. So yeah, stay safe, everyone. Stay warm, and have a good one until next Monday on Monday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. Signing off now, Graeme Forsyth, giving you a peace out on this Monday night. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.